Okay, so here's my first topic that I'm going to discuss. And I think you're going to have to get used to me discussing these things while I'm walking, because I do a lot of walking. And my thoughts just generally flow better off my mind when I walk. This is also pretty much where I do most of my real deep praying. So, yeah, the first topic I'd like to discuss is mixed religion marriage. Now, this is something that I think a lot of Christians struggle with or think about, because you might fall in love with somebody, start dating somebody whom you really, really like, really love, truly love, and they don't have the same Christian outlook as you. I'm not even talking to the degree of where you might be, for example, a Christian and now you're falling in love with a Jewish girl, or you're a Christian and you've fallen in love with a Catholic girl, or even you've fallen in love with a Jehovah's Witness or Mormon or something like that. This can even apply to you falling in love with somebody in your own denomination, if that even really matters, and you going to basically be delving into a world of trouble for yourself, because at the end of the day you might have the thought in your head of, well, you know what, she likes me, I love her, she loves me, and with time I'll go about convincing her, I'll go about teaching her and guiding her and leading her in the right path. I can tell you now, as someone who's done this twice, with no amount of explaining or preaching or teaching or churching will turn that person into a believer. There's only one person that can turn that person into a believer, and that is Jesus Christ himself. So I think if you really love somebody, it's really difficult to say to yourself, listen, if I marry this person or I date this person, try and build a long-term relationship with them, you're going to pick a very difficult path for yourself. And one of the main things which will become a problem is that if you, for example, fall in love with somebody, start dating someone, maybe even start thinking about marriage to this person, you run a very high risk of that person pretending to be something that they think you want them to be, simply to maintain the relationship. You guys are going to have to deal with traffic noise and dogs barking and all sorts of things. But the problem is that person that you're in love with, because they know how important this thing is to you, you run an extremely high risk of that person pretending and giving you, and how can I put it, creating the impression that they believe what you believe, simply in order to keep you or to continue the relationship or get them to marry you. As an example, in the beginning, It might even be intriguing for them. It might be part of the attraction that you are this person that believes something that most of the world does not believe. And it'll be part of the attraction even. It'll be part of why they fall in love with you. It'll be part of what they deem to be one of your greatest strengths. And that'll allow you to think that this whole thing is going the right way. But as time goes by, if they are not truly indwelt, sorry guys, it's raining a lot here in South Africa. Maybe you've seen on the news with the Kruger Park is basically turned into a swamp. Anyway, as time goes by, that person is not indwelt with the Holy Spirit. That person doesn't have a true personal relationship with Jesus Christ. They're not going to be able to maintain the illusion and the pretense and the energy to go with you to church. They're not going to be able to maintain going to maybe Bible study with you or praying with you, praying for supper. They're not going to be able to maintain the ability to have discussions about important biblical things, Christian things. They are going to slowly but surely run out of steam, and they are going to eventually, for example, stop going to church with you, stop praying with you. In my experience, their core beliefs will always remain their core beliefs. And if their core beliefs are that this is all we have, this earth and this life, one life, live it, and that's the end. After this is nothingness. It's not going to go away. They're going to live their lives as if this is all there is, and they're going to live for the world, so to speak. You cannot convince someone of the truth. Only the Spirit can do that. Only the Spirit can do that. And you trying to, for the sake of how much you love this person and wanting to keep them and wanting to be with them, and especially the beginning of the relationship where things are bright and shiny and new and fantastic, you thinking that with time you're going to convince them with making them promise or commit to going with you to church or reading the Bible or praying or whatever the case may be. It is a high risk activity, that because if that does not happen, the probability is pretty high that it won't. That person is eventually going to start resenting you. They're going to resent you because, as the Bible says, you're a light in the darkness. And instead of the light now attracting them, they are going to start hating the light, because your light is going to start shining on deficits of theirs, on things that they lack, on things that aren't there, that they have pretended to you to be there. And not only is that going to make them start resenting you, but it's also going to make them start fighting against you. And this fantastic relationship that you thought you had is very slowly but surely going to start turning into something that this person's going to want to exit from and run from. As the word says, people don't come to the darkness, people don't come to the light because they like the darkness, because they're hiding something. And unfortunately, as a believer, you are the light. And if the light isn't in them, that means that there's darkness there and that they're hiding something. And one way or another, your light will be illuminating what is lacking in them. And they are not going to like that whatsoever. And you'll see, as this happens, they start flaking on church. They will start resisting you. They will no longer want to do Bible studies and things like that. They'll no longer want to be around the people you want to be with. And it's going to destroy your soul. It's going to really destroy your soul. It's going to damage your relationship with Christ, because you're going to be divided between your love for Christ and for this person. It's going to damage your relationship with other believers, because they're going to constantly be trying to draw you away from other believers. It's going to damage your prayer life, because you're just going to constantly be praying for them to come back to church, and praying for them to want to be with the people you want to be with, praying for them to read the Bible, and praying for them to be saved. And that's all you're going to be doing, day and night, day and night. It's going to damage your health, not only your physical health, but your mental health, because all you're going to be doing is basically yearning that this person will see what you see, and they're not going to be able to see that. They're not going to be able to see the truth as you see it, and they're not going to be able to see the truth as the people around you that are also believers, genuine believers, see it. And that is going to hurt you in very deep places within your soul. You're going to lose sleep. You're going to not be as happy as you could be. You're going to feel divided. You're going to feel divided between two realities. The reality as you know it to be as a Christian, and the reality that they live. And it's not going to be fun. You're going to be reflecting something to her that she can't handle. You're going to be illuminating something to her that she can't handle. That's going to crush you. It's going to crush you. Trust me on that one. You're not going to be a happy camper. And the main problem is that you have a fundamentally different view of the world and life and the universe and what this all means compared to them. They won't be able to see things through your lenses that you see them through. That this is all temporary, that material things don't really matter that much, and that what really and truly matters is relationships, and your relationship with God, Christ. They're not going to be able to understand that and see that. I was kind of extra special, careful. I married Catholic twice, and as I mentioned, a Protestant / Baptist in orientation, and we live by sola scriptura, which basically boils down to, if it's in the Bible, we believe it. If it ain't, we don't. And the first church, obviously, was the Catholic Church. If you take history into account, for thousands of years, at least hundreds of years, more than 1,000 years, was the only church. And then, as errors were picked up, and you can go and look at the whole history of John Calvin and Martin Luther if you want. But the bottom line, it boiled down to that Christians had to start saying, hey, listen guys, we need to get back to the Bible. If it's not there, we leave it alone. If it is there, we grab onto it, hold on to it, believe it. And if it doesn't matter what denomination you come from, what church, what belief system, it really doesn't matter. But if you do not have a personal relationship with Christ, then you're in trouble. Big, big trouble. You can read your Bible 100 times a day. You can be the pastor or the bishop or the Pope himself. If you don't have a personal relationship with Christ, you're in deep trouble. Give you a little bit of a listen to our natural wildlife here. That is the sound of South Africa. If you hear that sound, you know you're here. If you don't hear that sound, you're not in Southern Africa. To get back to the point, the fundamental difference between your worldview and their worldview will infect everything. It will infect, it's typical, it will infect your children if you have any. It will, it will destroy anything and everything that you have that you deem to be holy and good. Imagine, what do you tell your kids eventually? You know, who are they going to believe? You or your wife? Where are they going to go? Are they going to go to church? Are they going to go to mass? Are they going to go to church or to the synagogue or to the church or to the mosque? How are you going to deal with that? How are you going to cope with that? And it ain't going to be easy. It's not going to be easy in any way. It's going to be very difficult. So I come with a bit of a warning. And I know most of you guys are not going to listen. Because I didn't listen either. And I did this twice. I married someone whom I believed was at least vaguely interested in the Christian way, in Christ, that, went to church, even if it wasn't my denomination. But eventually that person is going to exit. They're going to exit, and if they don't exit, then they're going to fight you and resist you every step of the way. And they're going to resent you, and they're going to deeply, basically, fight against you. If you go right, they're going to go left. If you go left, they're going to go right. And half the time they won't even know it. But it'll just purely be based on their worldview and the resentment of you, and them trying to prove that what you believe is not the only truth and the right way to go. So be warned. It's going to shatter you. It's going to break you. It's going to hurt you. If the relationship survives in whatever form it does, it's going to shatter you. You'll be open to all sorts of spiritual attacks too. If you're a true believer, you know that you're very much protected by the Spirit from all sorts of attacks. But the powers of darkness might not be able to attack you directly, but they're going to attack you through that person. And then they're going to do their damnedest best to break you. That person won't be protected, so they will get to you through that person. So it's going to be a very difficult road that you're going to walk. I've got a lot more to say on this topic. And I know you guys are probably sitting there with a couple of questions in your minds as well, which you can easily drop into the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them in future, things like this. But I think I'm going to leave what I wanted to still say on this topic for the next one. So yeah, be warned. Be warned, brothers. You're going to choose yourself a very difficult path, one way or another. And it probably isn't going to end well. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news and negativity, but this is just the way it is. Take my word for it. I've done it twice, and I've seen where this leads, and it's not to a nice place. See you in the next one.